Hey, what's up everybody? I am back, and today I'm going to be talking about how do you figure out how many calories you're supposed to be eating if you're trying to lose weight. This is a conversation I've had several times over the last couple of weeks with some of my friends, and sometimes you forget that people just don't know where to find this information. How do you figure this out? So I'm going to give you 3 sources today to go to, and you can put in some information on each one. It requires zero math from you whatsoever, and then you can pick which one of those plans you like, and they'll give you targets for all your calories and your macros, your cool proteins, carbs, and fats. Before we get started though, as usual, if you would do me a favor, if you find this video to be helpful, please hit like on it and maybe even the subscribe button while you're here. I do these types of videos several times a week, as well as you can visit my blog, my website over at shizniss.com. I'll put a link to all of these sources and my blog down below. You can go check out some of my articles I've posted up over there. All right, so knowing your target calorie number is extremely important whenever it comes to trying to lose weight. If you're not familiar with how the process works, you might be inclined or have a tendency to think, well, I can't hardly eat anything. I really need to restrict my calories to be able to lose weight. And what that often results in is people eating way too few calories, which is like the worst possible way to lose weight, and certainly one of the least healthy ways to lose weight. And it also gets in your brain that you're depriving yourself, and it's just hard to maintain that type of sacrifice, if you feel like you're not living to some degree. So, the key to being able to lose weight is being able to A, know your target, and B, do it in a way so that it's healthy and you're actually hitting a number that works for your body to keep you strong, to keep you healthy, but at the same time does put you in a caloric deficit so you can lose some weight. So I'm going to show you now 3 different websites. They're completely free to use to get your numbers, to get your calories. Each one of them are going to give you almost the exact same numbers, slight differences. So what I recommend is try each one of them, see what kind of numbers they give you, and use one of them just to start with. And if you don't like it, you can always switch to another one. But let's get started. First, what we're going to do is take a quick look at the National Academy of Sports Medicine calorie and macro calculator here. Okay, first up we've got the NASM, the National Academy of Sports Medicine Calorie Calculator. And what you're going to find on these, if you've never visited one before, is all 3 of these are going to essentially be the same thing. They're going to ask you for some basic questions about yourself, height, weight, as you go down the line, your levels of activity, how much exercise you do per week, if you do any, things like that. So be prepared to answer a few questions. You're not going to have to do any math on your own, but you are going to have to put some things in here, as age is obviously one of these. And so that's the first one here. Next up, we've got the If It Fits Your Macros Calorie Calculator. This is probably one of the most popular ones online. It's the IIFYM, if you've ever seen that anywhere. And similar setup. This one's not nearly as clunky as the NASM one. It's a little bit friendlier to use. You can see here it's kind of got these nice little bars for going back and forth, but essentially the same thing, right? It's asking you some of the stuff about yourself. Now this one's kind of neat because it says what's your goal weight, which is kind of a neat thing. It helps calculate that. Estimated body fat. If you don't know that, it kind of gives you a guide to go by. So it's a little bit more user friendly as to what kind of activity you do, how experienced are you, etc. At the end of this one, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to put in your email address and your first name if you want the macros emailed to you. You can do that. They'll try to sell you on some other programs and things after that with some email, but just hit your button here and then it'll give you, it'll actually show them to you on the screen and email them to you as well. But I tend to use this one more than any of them. I just like the setup best and the numbers at the end best. This one here I got from a book called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, which is a fantastic book if you're interested in getting fit, and especially when you're starting out. But same type of deal again, macronutrient calculator. This one again is not nearly as user-friendly as the other one. You can kind of see here, what's your goal, etc. Once you do that, once you put all that information up here at the top, this down here will adjust as you do that. Cool thing here is you don't have to put your email address in or anything like that in order to get your totals out of this. Now, something to keep in mind here is almost all 3 of these are going to give you nearly the same calorie number. You're going to see very, very little difference there. And even the macros, the proteins, carbs, and fats are going to be very similar. What I found, though, is that I tried this one. I tried the IIFYM one. and I compared them, and one of them gave me actually more fat that I could eat than the other one did, but it restricted my calories a little bit more, or my protein. So I tried them out, went for a couple of weeks on each one to decide which one I liked best, and then went with that one for quite a while. But you can switch these up. Any target with any of these is going to be a good target to get you started, especially as a beginner. Now, there's a few other things maybe to mention here is, you're going to see some terms on these calculators you're not familiar with, like the BMR, the basal metabolic rate. Things like this as a beginner, don't worry about these right now. As you continue and kind of start progressing down your fitness pathway, so to speak, it's good stuff to know, things you'll want to learn as you go on. But as a beginner, just keep it as simple as possible. Get your numbers, get your targets. That way you know how much you're supposed to be eating and taking in. So that's it for these three. Again, links are going to be in the description down below for each of these three. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, again, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe while you're here. I do these types of videos several times per week, all fitness stuff. And that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop your questions down below. Of course, all the links to everything that you saw here, all three sources are going to be down there as well. So you can go and check those out and see what works for you. Again, just don't get into the mindset of you have to starve yourself to lose weight and to get fit. That's really going to do more damage than it does good. And it's simply unsustainable. So going and figuring out what your targets you need to be is going to give you some sort of a blueprint towards success, and certainly a blueprint to get started. That's hard. That's like the hardest part is just the first foot forward. This will help you get that first foot forward and then probably the other steps after it. So thanks y'all so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.